Okay, so here we go with part two. Part two, class discussion a lot about the spinal cord injuries. They were just great examples of the need for habit and routine and how it really impacts their health. People with spinal cord injuries, they usually have shorter life expectancy, and usually it's because they can't keep up with the complications, can't maintain their health. A lot of it's around skin breakdown, other issues. They really have to keep on top of a lot of different things. It's quite 24/7 kind of constant thing as part of their life. And habits, routines, all that kinds of stuff, strategies, huge deal if you're dealing with them, trying to maintain their body, maintain their health. Lecture questions. And lastly, I want to get into this TSA to kind of do walk through that. I can pull this up. This is all right in Canvas. It's under the modules. See step-by-step instructions, TSA. This is what you're doing. This is due, let me just scooch up here. This is due the first part, which is the hard part, the hardest part. It's due week 4 to 14. Second part and the third part are a lot easier, pretty quick and straightforward. Progress note, discharge note, those do week 10 and then week 14 towards the end of the semester. Basically what it is, it's like a self-improvement plan that you're going to be doing on yourself this semester. And it's going to be extra challenging for you to do this semester, which is actually really good. Like a lot of people with health issues, trying to change all this stuff we give on that, we lay on them. I want you to do these exercises. I want you to do this, that. How are they going to actually do that? All through all the challenges they face, you guys will face the challenge. They're overwhelming, really challenging, being just so busy with neuro and all the OT related stuff that you need to do. In addition to trying to change your life for the better and to maintain that and see what happens as you try to maintain that over the semester. So what you need to do, the first thing you need to do is pick 2 issues that you want to change. And don't make them huge issues. I'm going to lose 100 pounds. I'm going to bench press 500 pounds. I'm going to run a marathon. I mean, you can, but be realistic. Like with your patients, be realistic. Considering your time restraints, the stress, the issues going on. Little baby steps are a good thing. What kinds of things are good things to change? What kinds of things do students usually change? Jumping down, these are the categories. Stress, you can imagine, is a common, popular thing to change. Nutrition, a lot of ways around nutrition. Usually students are trying to eat better, not so much less calories, but just trying to eat better. Physical fitness is a huge deal. People trying to get to the gym more, especially with COVID restrictions around gyms closing. It's a lot more challenging. Smoking, I had a student that gave up smoking doing this, and last I heard he was still not smoking, so worked for him. Alcohol, it's kind of a serious thing through a counselor or some kind of substance abuse. Spirituality, I'll kind of shy away from that, unless you're just thinking of the volume or whatever, something small. Spirituality, most students are like, ooh, spirituality, but some students getting to church more, they've kind of lost that connection to the church that they had if they moved from, say, out of state kind of thing. Time management, this is a huge deal as well. And then people have a lot of different other things they want to change, which is great. Just talk to me about something different because we ultimately need to measure it. Can be great in theory, but if you can't measure it in a really clear, concrete kind of way, really not going to be able to do it for this assignment. So determine 2 issues. These are the 2 things I'd like to change about my life this semester. And then this is the part that always trips students up because they just overthink it or they just kind of miss parts, not really sure what happens. But you need 2 baseline measures for each issue that you assessed. So you need 2 baseline measures. Let's say you say diet and exercise. So for diet, you need 2 baseline measures, and exercise, you need 2 baseline measures. What are baseline measures? Your starting point. Baseline measures are your starting point. If you don't know your starting point, everything else makes no sense. How are you going to improve on something that you don't even tell me? You can't tell me how many times people are writing goals about diet and losing weight, and they're not even telling me what their diet is to start with or how much they weigh to start with. Where are you starting from? Huge, huge deal as a therapist, getting their baseline. How much strength they have, what's their minimum muscle test, what's their goniometer, all that stuff we did in the fall applies to this. Your starting point is your baseline. I'll walk you through how to do that, but it's pretty simple, really. Don't overthink it, but you definitely need that. Don't skip that. You skip that, and you're more likely to flunk this. It'll just make everything kooky. It just doesn't work. Step 3, what are the causes behind those issues? You said you want to change your diet. What are the causes? What are the reasons why you think it's so hard for you to eat healthy? I'm so busy. Courses, studying, can't get to the store. It's really hard to get to the grocery store. Why can't you get to the gym? Costs too much money. All the gyms are closed. COVID. I go with friends. Friends are not, whatever. What are the causes? Again, not rocket science. Keep it simple. What are the causes behind your issues? And those causes will drive your interventions. Reason I can't exercise each week is because the hours at the gym don't jive with my schedule. Okay, what are you going to do about that? I'm going to work out at home. Reason I can't go to the gym each week, I need to socialize. I need to do it socially with my friends. My friends can't make it to the gym. Okay, I'm going to meet up with my friends at home. We're going to do it, or something like that. Why diet? I can't afford to go grocery shopping each week, or something. How are you going to work out those problems? Your interventions connect directly to your causes. What is causing the problem? Just ask you to kind of break it down a little more. You need to do this with clients. You can't just pull interventions willy-nilly. You need to make them that make sense for what's going on in your life. Goal writing. These goals are pretty simple. You can use that COAST method if it helps you to kind of break it down. The goal goes off the baseline. Can't reinforce this enough. This is where students just fall apart on this. For some reason, they want to make goals that are not based on their baseline. They're based on nothing at all, or who knows what, some kind of vague, unmeasurable thing. Baseline. I weigh 175 pounds. My goal is to weigh 170 pounds right off the baseline. My goal right now, I eat out 5 days a week. That's your baseline. My goal is to eat out just 1 day a week. Right now, my baseline is I go to the gym once a week. Again, that's your baseline. My goal is to go to the gym 7 days a week. So it has to match up these two. If you're writing goals that have no baseline, baselines don't connect to goals, it really defeats the whole purpose of this. And this is what you do in rehab. You make your goals based on your baseline. It's a fundamental concept you really want to get down in your head and clunk it in there. Reassess. Reassessment is a big part of this. We talked about the changing, it's a loop kind of thing, relapses. Reassess. What happened? Not making it as well as I thought. Why not? Still not getting to the gym, still too busy, whatever it is. Think about new interventions, or everything's going great, or it's too easy. I need to make my goals more ambitious. Things like that. Breaking down 3 parts, the 2 wellness issues, the 2 issues, we talked about that. Finding baselines. Use this personal wellness assessment for your baselines. You don't have to, but it makes life so much easier. You download that sucker and it will pull up. I can find it here. There it is right here. There's like 5 of these. Each of them kind of break down all these different categories. You need to do the whole thing just on yourself, just to kind of get used to doing it. And then pick out in this which issues you're trying to address. There's stuff around stress and other things, your workload, time management, physical, diet, and exercise. You don't need to do a lot of categories. Just pick the ones that are applicable. You need to get the score, how you did. And usually, if it's a problem, the score is not going to be Never, it's not going to be perfect. You can have a score. That'll be one of your baseline measures right off here. Look through there. You can use other things. Come to me if you're using other things. It's going to get a little bit confusing. So that's one. One is off the physical, off the personal wellness assessment, one of your baselines. The other baseline is just kind of a number kind of thing, an obvious number kind of thing. What do I mean by that? So if you're dealing with weight, how much do you weigh? If you're dealing with diet, how many times a week are you going out? If you're dealing with stress, you have to measure the stress somehow. This can be challenging. You can use the personal wellness thing. I'll give you a stress number. But how else can you measure stress? Maybe you're not sleeping well. Maybe I hate to say this, but it's true. We're using this last year. You're crying, breaking down. You're so overwhelmed, just crying so many times a week, or whatever it is. You have to find some way of kind of measuring it, some objective measure, physical and the personal wellness. We'll talk more about this in a second. Interventions, again, your interventions are driven off of your causes, your issues. You have to say what you plan to do, when you plan to do it, for how long. These are kind of like goals, but they aren't goals. So don't think, oh, I'm doing goals. No, you're not doing goals. You're just detailed interventions, and it could be similar to your goals. That's okay. Don't freak out over that. Just make it as detailed. What you plan to do, when you plan to do it, how long, kind of thing. Similar to goals. When you're writing your goals, 2 goals for each. One off the physical problem, one off the wellness assessment number problem. There's the goal, the soap notes, forget. And here's kind of the steps 2 and 3, which are really straightforward. Progress on how you're doing, walks you through that, and then discharge, so I'm kind of wrapping things up. See this chart right here? This chart is huge. This is what you need to use to put together your TSA Part 1. Just fill in the chart. Do that physical wellness thing, and you can submit that as a hard copy or electronic copy, and do this. Walks you right through it. This is an example. Just take out these examples that I gave in here and put in yours. Don't make it too hard. This really helps you start to think cleanly, objectively. You're starting to think like a rehab therapist by doing this process. Issues you're going to address. Use smoking and stress as 2 examples. Need 2 baseline measures for each one. You need an observational one and an objective one. The objective one is the personal wellness assessment. The observational one is this, what you're seeing. So I did it for smoking. I do want to do it for stress, because a lot of you will do stress. So here's the observational. I smoke 5 cigarettes a day. That's my observational baseline. That's where I'm starting from. I'm smoking 5 cigarettes a day. I want to reduce this. And I scored 4 on question 6 on the personal dimension, physical dimension. So that's my baseline there. Causes, 2 causes for each problem. Again, just looking at smoking. My smoking may be due to poor habits. Think about the habits, the PowerPoint we just did, and stress. So how are you going to address those? The habit, it's around supper, or I smoke every time after supper, so I'm going to go for a walk instead. And then I'm going to meditate to deal with the stress. Again, think of the things you're getting in this class. Meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, all these different things. Use them for these to be helpful. And then your goals, let's smoke only 1 cigarette. See how it goes back to the baseline? These need to connect. If these don't connect, they're wrong and you're losing big points. Make sure your goals connect to your baselines. The baseline was smoking 5 cigarettes. My goal is to smoke 1 cigarette. The baseline was 4 on a score 2. It shows you how to weave in all that coast stuff. But to be honest, this is the key thing I look for. Are they connecting? Is it definitely showing improvement from 5 to 1 cigarettes, from 4 to 2 on the score? This is what insurances look for. Are they getting better observationally? Are they getting better on your standardized assessment that you're doing? Did they score better? So that means, okay, what you're doing is working. We're going to pay for it. But if you can't show that, you can't have a baseline and a goal that makes sense and interventions, they're going to say, it's Cucamonga, it makes no sense. We're not going to pay you $100 a visit for this, or whatever it is that you're asking Use the rubric. So all these items must be in the care plan. Again, use this. Put all this stuff in it. Don't put it in all these different places and expect me to kind of hunt and find it or whatever. It's like, that's I did it on a physical assessment. Can't you see the score? No. The score needs to be here. Just like when you're documenting, your documentation scores, all that stuff needs to be in your documentation. This is your documentation. This is your plan. This is the ticket right here. Just do that sucker and you'll be good. All right. Please come to me with questions about that because it can get very confusing. I understand that. It's a challenging thing. And you want to get it right. All right. So not only for this class, but really your mindset for what you have kind of going forward. All right. Here, let's see. Click off.